Hey guys, what's up? It's Vampire Bride. Today I'm doing a review of the third generation Moto X. This phone came out in July of 2015 and is the third generation of the Moto X's. I want to talk about a few of the very cool features that I like about this phone, and of course some downsides. One of the cool little features that I like about this phone is the little divot on the back. It allows you to comfortably hold your phone up to your head while you're on the phone or comfortably hold it while you're texting. That being said, it did work better with the first generation Moto X as the phone was smaller, so it just fit in your hand better. At least that's for me, but I have small hands. But I almost always have my phone in my OtterBox case, so it doesn't make much difference to me as the case does cover up the little divot. I don't risk taking my phone out of its case unless I'm just sitting at home, because even though it's made with the stronger, sturdier Gorilla Glass, I still don't trust myself not to drop and break it. Most of the time when walking around, my phone is in my hand because have you seen girls' pockets? Yeah, there's no way this big thing is fitting in most pockets. You can barely even fit a flip phone in those things. There's one huge downside to having the case on this phone. When you're holding it any way except for in the normal manner, the screen does not work right. I can't tell you how many times I've been laying in bed or had my phone sitting on the desk in front of me trying to scroll through Facebook or even YouTube and clicked on a picture or video that I wasn't trying to click on. Without the case on the phone, there isn't a problem and the touchscreen works just fine, but the case really does impede the usability of the touchscreen. One of the most important parts of a phone to me is the camera. I love taking pictures, and even though I have a couple cameras, I don't always have them with me. Of course, I always have my phone with me, so it's quick, easy, and convenient to take the camera out and snap a photo, especially with the Moto X's movement commands. You twist the phone twice, and the camera comes on. Twist it 2 more times, and it flips the camera. Now it's front facing. It also has a movement command for the flashlight. You do 2 chopping motions, and the flashlight comes on. This works great most of the time. Every once in a while you have to do it a couple times before it works, but every once in a while it also comes on when you're not actually trying to, like running downstairs with the phone in your hand. That's not really a big issue though. This phone has had above average cameras since the first generation of the Moto X came out compared to other phones around its time. The third generation Moto X takes amazing pictures. The back camera is 13 megapixel, and the front camera is 5 megapixel, and they both include flash, which is great when taking selfies. Of course, now having front flash on a phone is becoming much more mainstream and isn't as unique to these phones. But you've got to remember that the third generation Moto X has been rocking it for over 3 years now. Now I want to quickly compare a few things about the third generation Moto X to newer phones that are out today. I'm going to compare it to the Galaxy S9 and the iPhone X. When comparing the camera to the third generation Moto X to these newer phones, the back camera still kicks their butts. They are at 12 megapixels instead of the 13 in the Moto X, but their front cameras are better at 7 to 8 megapixels. It does have a smaller screen at 5.2 inches compared to the 5.8 inches of the Galaxy S9 or the 6.2 inches for the Galaxy S9 Plus, and the 5.8 inch screen of the iPhone X. So they are a little bit smaller than newer phones, and the front camera isn't as good. Also, the newer cameras do have more features that this one doesn't, and they video in higher quality and higher frames per second than the Moto X does. The Moto X records at 30 frames per second at 1080p, while the newer phones supposedly can record in 4K at 1440p, so definitely an improvement there. But the back camera still has a higher megapixel than phones coming out now in 2018. But it's sad to say that the third generation Moto X was the last of its kind, being that Motorola was bought out by Lenovo, which is more known for computers and laptops. That being said, they do still make phones, but they aren't as intuitive as the Moto X's were. I feel as though these phones were a little bit ahead of their time and for the most part still stand up to modern phones. But there is one huge downfall to these phones, which can be expected as it is over 3 years old. But the batteries in these phones are starting to fail. Originally I was using an 8GB third generation Moto X, but I used my phone a ton, so this just wasn't enough memory. So I upgraded to a 32GB. But quickly I noticed that my phone battery was lasting less and less and spending more and more time on the charger. It got to where my phone was literally on the charger all day long. Usually this wouldn't be an issue as it's not too hard or too expensive to go and get your battery changed. But they are only making aftermarket battery for these phones since Motorola was bought out by Lenovo. I went and tried to get my battery replaced anyways, which cost around $75. It worked great for the first week, and then I slowly noticed it needing to be on the charger more and more as the battery just would not last. By the end of week 2, it was back to being on the charger just about all day long. So I thought I'd give it one more shot as I had a warranty on that battery and go and get it switched out again. So after not having my phone for a week and getting the battery switched out again, I went through the process all over again. The first week was great, but by the end of that week, I was noticing it spending more and more time on the charger. And again, by the end of the second week, it was on the charger constantly. Now this can happen to batteries very easily if they aren't charged properly, and by that I mean if they are left dead for a long period of time or they are charged when it's not necessary over and over again. And of course, when batteries get old, they will start to have trouble holding a charge. So after the third battery, I decided it was time to lay that phone to rest and go back to my 8GB version, as not having enough memory is better than not being able to use your phone at all because it is stuck on the charger. Though it is annoying frequently being told that I'm running out of memory space. Also, the charge ports on these phones are known for having issues, and it is just not worth getting them repaired. One issue that they have is that they only like to charge with their brand or Motorola brand charging cords. If you try to plug any other cord into them, a lot of times it will either not charge or charge very slowly. Which sucks because these phones have turbocharge and they charge fairly quickly when you use the right charger. Also, the charge ports tend to get a little bit loose and you have to plug and unplug the cord in a couple times before you get it to charge, and if you just barely bump it, it stops charging. I haven't had a problem with that in this phone though, but I did have a first generation Moto X that I had that problem with, and it has been known in all 3 generations to be an issue. Enough about the bad, it's time to talk more about the good in this phone. Another really cool feature that it has is the ability to go hands-free. Now, most phones do have Google Assist, but this takes it a step further, which is great for situations where you need to be hands-free, like maybe you have pizza grease all over your hands and don't want to touch your phone, or you're driving, which of course it still isn't recommended to use your phone while driving, even if it is hands-free, because it's a distraction. But anyways, it's a really cool feature to have and very extensive. You can literally do anything in your phone without ever touching it. If you have a pin on your phone, you simply say the phrase that opens your phone, and then you'll say the pin out loud to unlock it. It's really cool and really simple to use, and I was a little bit obsessed with it when I got my first Moto X. One more really great thing about this phone is that it has 2 speakers on the front of the phone. So when you're using this phone for speakerphone or to watch, say, YouTube videos, you can set the phone down in front of you and you can still perfectly and clearly hear the audio coming through the speakers. Also, these speakers are pretty high quality and they sound amazing even when turned up loud, and they do get pretty loud. The phone was customizable to where you could change the colors of the back, the bezel, and the buttons. But the phone regularly came in black, white, and then bamboo. Motorola claims that this phone is water resistant for 30 minutes in up to 1 meter of water. I am not going to test this theory as I would like to keep my phone until I upgrade, but I have spilled a significant amount of water on it without causing a problem. One last small but really cool feature about this phone is the active motion display. When you either pick it up or move your hand across the screen, it lights the screen up and you can see the time and whatever notifications that you have. It gets super addicting. Like anytime I'm messing with somebody else's phone, I'll try to use it because I'm so used to using it with my phone. And I tend to check the time a lot, so it became a very useful feature for me personally. To sum all that up, I really love this phone. It has some really cool features and I feel like it was a bit ahead of its time. But it is a little bit of a gamble as to whether you're going to get one with a working battery or not. I've been using this one for at least 6 months and I haven't had a problem with the battery life. The battery life in the phones, when they are good, they are really good and can last pretty much all day under heavy use. But if you get one with a failing battery, there's really no fixing it because the aftermarket batteries just don't hold up. So would I recommend this phone? I absolutely would if it wasn't for the battery issues. This is an amazing phone and I really like it, but it's just way too much of a gamble, not knowing if the battery is going to work or not. The battery life on these phones is really good when they're working good. You can use your phone pretty much all day under heavy use without a problem. But as soon as you get one with a failing battery, all bets are off since the aftermarket batteries just don't hold up. So if you're willing to gamble $150 on a phone whose battery life might be crap, then this phone is for you. Of course, buying a used phone is a gamble anyways. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button and of course subscribe for more videos.